How about now? I bet you can now. When Dan was doing the eclipse coverage, he used his sound that he was also going to the studio because we were streaming this earlier, and that's what I forgot to change. So now you should be able to hear me. Yep. There we go. Yep. So forgot that we're doing that whole eclipse thing. So here, we'll go backwards now. So now we'll start with severe weather risk. See that 1 out of 5, mainly for the river valley. Now, with this, the main threat is hail. So you're looking at a large hail risk, but I don't think we're going to be seeing some significant hail. I think small hail, definitely possible. I don't think we're going to be seeing any large hail. So now we'll go back to Mega Doppler, and then you can see the strong storms in the southern part of the state. A lot of strong winds, some 1-inch hail reported, and then you see that little flash flooding icon there near Lone Oak. So definitely some pretty strong storms, but what will it mean when they get here? So we'll take a look at the future track here in just a second. I'll load that up. So there you see the storms off to the southeast, southeast, the bottom part of your screen. As you go throughout the night, they started to move up towards the north, but this warm front that is retreating north is going to be it's going to slow down because it's also starting to dissipate a little bit. So it's going to lose a lot of its speed. And the good news is it's going to lose a lot of its source of lift. So that's something to be thankful for. But they're going to roll in probably a little after midnight tonight. And they're going to see some isolated cells, possible, some rumbles of thunder. Some of these could be a little bit stronger, especially near Ozark, a little bit out further east, northeast of Russellville, and kind of along, right there near the Arkansas River. So continuing on into the early morning, again, this is really slow. It's a positively tilted trough, slow-moving warm front. It felt like it took forever to get here, but it's going to be finally moving in. And so we're expecting rain kind of throughout the night. Some rumbles of thunder, definitely possible. But the further north you go, a little bit of a weakening trend it gets to. So that's what we're looking at tonight. Maybe pea-sized hail in the river valley. Kind of have my doubts. These are going to be some pretty elevated thunderstorms, so don't think they're going to be all that too impressive in terms of strong storms. But we're going to be seeing a lot of rain. So we'll continue through the future track here. This is 9 a.m. tomorrow. Could see some showers, kind of a stationary boundary lingering in. So you have the stationary front. I'll pull up the surface analysis. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. There we go. So we got that stationary front, and you had that warm front that I was talking about. That's moving north and kind of dissipating as it does, meaning it's weakening. Then we have the trough axis. Let's take this full. Then we have this trough axis that also help providing that lift, and that's where a lot of the severe ingredients are. But it's going to kind of run into this stationary boundary, so that's why the storms the showers at this point might linger around. Then this is going to move off to the east, but this low going to bring some more southwest flow with it, as well as this one. So there's a lot of pieces of energy that we're going to have to watch. And I'll show you on the water vapor imagery. You see a very stout, positively tilted trough. And what that means is it's oriented like this. This is a positively tilted trough. It means it's going to take a lot slower to get here. And it's going to be a lot slower to get here. If it was negatively tilted, meaning tilted the other way like this, that would be coming in a lot faster and a lot stronger. Speaking of stronger, did I see Scott had a confirmed tornado touch that was not tornado warned or severe storm warned? I did not see a warning. There was nothing issued, but I was checking Facebook during the 10 o'clock, and my aunt who lives in Scott was like, this is the worst storm I've ever been through. A lot of trees down and moved their porch off a little bit, off where it was off the post a little bit. And there's a lot of flooding around. So, yeah, I did hear about it, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the confirmed tornado. I haven't seen any pictures of that, but that'd be very interesting. I'm glad she's okay. But, yeah, there's some pretty strong storms. That's a lot further south you go, for the ingredients are. I can show you those the severe weather risk further south. All I have to do is zoom out here a little bit. But even Scott, was in the marginal. So you can have marginal booms, but all the ingredients are still kind of all around here. So you can still be in that marginal, still have some pretty strong storms. We'll look at it again here. And we'll take a look at the hail risk. We'll zoom out a little bit. You see that hail report of 1 inch south of Little Rock. But yeah, a lot of hail in the DFW area. Still seeing that low risk. Again, mainly in the River Valley area. But we got a lot of rain. Here's the 2-day rain timing chances. Now, this a little bit has been adjusted. We've had a very busy day. I'd say definitely all of Tuesday has been adjusted. So you can see it's going to rain at times, but not all day, every day. And someone confirmed like KRK or KATV. You can confirm it on radar. You can say radar confirmed. It's not warm. I can check. What I can check is Slack or National Weather Service chat. And we'll probably have something in there. I bet that chat's pretty active right now. Pull that up. The Little Rock National Weather Service covers pretty much most of the state except our coverage area for the most part. Get the latest messages. Sometimes it can be a pain. But pull those rain chances back up there. And again, I'll go through the future track in just a second, but definitely want to look at the Slack channel. Yeah, near Craig Road is what people are posting in Pulaski, Saline, Lone Oak, EMS. Yeah, they did see it. They are aware of it, but they haven't confirmed it yet. They'll go out tomorrow and look at the damage for sure, just to confirm. But yeah, it's gonna be embedded rain wraps. Gonna be really hard to tell if there was a tornado. I don't doubt that there was. Definitely possible. Let's look at the rain chances. Go back to the future track. I'll show a different model as well. So again, one time quickly through tonight. Warm front moving north. A good amount of energy. Expecting rain in the overnight hours up until about sunrise. Could see some lingering showers in far northwest Arkansas and far northeast Oklahoma, as well as southwest Missouri. Maybe kind of have my doubts that those will linger. Then more energy coming in. That other low I showed, that's coming through Tuesday late afternoon, early evening, and into the nighttime hours. Might be even later than what the models are showing because, as I mentioned, this is a positively tilted trough. And remember that severe weather day we had? Was it last Monday? Everything was super late because it was a positively tilted trough. So it's going to probably be later than what models are showing. I do believe that. Heading into Wednesday morning, going to see some remnants of that. And then Wednesday afternoon into evening, that's going to be a lot of rain too. I'll show you another model as well, just so you can get another idea. Pull this back in time so you can see it go a little bit further out. Tuesday afternoon, not showing a whole lot. Nighttime, also not showing a whole lot. It might be having a good handle on the positively tilted trough. But come Wednesday, around afternoon time, still has those showers coming in. And then a whole lot more around dinner time. It's going to be a quick blow, but it's going to be a lot of rain. Here's a look from the same model, but showing the rain totals over the next little while. So this is come Thursday morning. This is after most of the rain. There might be some lingering showers in the late morning on Thursday. Kind of have my doubts. But this is a model showing the amount of precipitation expected over the next several days. Again, that's a lot. So you got Fayetteville, 1.61 inches. That's a lot. Boonville, excuse me, let me get some water. Boonville, 3 inches. So a whole lot of rain expected for the River Valley. It's where you have more favorable ingredients for it. But a whole lot of rain. I'll show you, excuse me, a 4-panel rain total. So this shows a bunch of different models at the same time. Let me kind of back this up so we can see all of it. I guess the graph won't load the colors, but There's the graph. We just looked at that. About 3 inches in the river valley over the next 3 days. Fayetteville, around 1 2/3 inches. Northwest Arkansas, above 1.5 inches, pretty much most places. Further north you go, you get a bit less, as well as further west. The European model, it's a long-range model. Still showing a whole lot. Might be overdoing the rain, but nonetheless, at least over 1 inch in every place. Northwest Arkansas showing a little bit more favorable for that heavier rain. Man, GFS showing a lot of rain. And I believe it too. So showing Fort Smith in the River Valley around 3.5 inches. Some spots might be even seeing 4. I don't doubt that there's going to be some local areas that are above 3 over the next 3 days, but a lot of rain expected. Showing a whole lot for Northwest Arkansas as well. Then the NAM, that's a mid-range model. The GFS and the European being the long-range models. Showing a good amount of rain too. But the reason that you're going to see a lot of rain is because there's a lot of precipitable water. So I don't think I made this graphic not too long ago. Can I make the camera stop following me? I did. What precipitable water is, it's kind of like having your ShamWow full of water. Precipitable water is how much water you can wring out of that. And a high amount of precipitable water are these oranges. So go ahead and let it play so I can bring up the pointer. There. Now I can go back and forth. So the higher amounts of precipitable water are down to the south as expected. A lot of that Gulf moisture right there. But there is a good amount that works its way into our coverage area and even into far northwest Arkansas. Man. But so a lot of water is able to be wringed out. This is the first time I've seen those near yellows in our area. So definitely going to be seeing a lot of rain. There's going to be a lot of moisture to wring out of those clouds. And that's going to be bringing us a lot of rain. Man. So we're expecting a good amount of rain. We'll show you the day 1 risk. And then we'll look at the day 2 risk, because that's also kind of in our area. We are in the non-severe thunderstorm threat, but again, it's just to the south, so we could still see some rumbles of thunder embedded in there, but not looking like it's going to be severe criteria, thankfully. I do want to look at the excessive rainfall outlook. Here's the day 1 excessive rainfall outlook. This is from excuse me, I'm gonna get a cough drop. Man, I don't think I've had to talk this much in some time. Well, never mind. Don't have any. Anyways, so this is the excessive rainfall outlook. We're in a 1 out of 4. It doesn't go to 5 like the Storm Prediction Center convective outlook. It goes to 4. You can see a 2 out of 4 in South Arkansas and Southwest Arkansas. So that's just for overnight tonight. They're issued Monday morning to Tuesday morning is when they're valid for. So now we'll take a look at the day 2 excessive rainfall outlook. Okay, so it was a little bit off to the south and east, but you can see that red, that moderate, expecting some heavy rain. Now, this is for Tuesday into Wednesday. Now, I was saying Wednesday evening is going to be that super soaker, so I feel like it's going to be probably going to be in a marginal, but it might get upgraded there. Most of it is in a marginal, most of the area, but you got portions that are in that 2 out of 4. So definitely going to be seeing a lot of rain. I know it's been a while since we had a lot of days of rain. I can show you the QPF. This is, once it'll load, there we go. This is the rain expected over the next 7 days. And it changes every day because you take out days that had a lot of rain. On Friday, I believe on Friday, this was showing about 9 inches south of Little Rock and roughly 3 to 4 here. And it's still pretty high. Some areas around 1.5. up to 2. It's decreased because you start getting out days that don't have rain anymore. So definitely expecting a lot of rain. Temperatures gonna be all right. I can show you the rain chances for each day. Put that low. See, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Thursday, mainly in the morning. It's just kind of those lingering storms that are left over, and then the 20% that I just covered up on Monday. Our next system going to be coming in, but weekend's going to be nice. If you don't have weekend plans, make some. If you have weekend plans, keep them. This is going to be pretty nice weather this weekend. Thankfully, temperatures are going to be pretty mild over the next 48 hours. Just because, let me take this full. Just because you have a lot of clouds, you don't have time for the radiational cooling. Lance, I do. You know, I haven't talked this much because normally it's Dan or Zach talking, but now it's me leading my own. So I haven't talked this long in a row. So definitely need a cough drop or build that stamina. Need to build that stamina. But temperature's going to be pretty mild. Not going to have a lot of radiational cooling, which is the heat from the Earth's surface that was heated by the sun throughout the day. That escaping into the atmosphere. This radiational cooling. We're not going to see a lot of that because there's going to be a lot of clouds. So mild mornings expected, thankfully. But also, you don't get a lot of sun during the day, so you don't get a lot of heating, a lot of daytime heating. So temperatures not going to fluctuate all that much. In northwest Arkansas, topping out in the low 70s, and then highs in the middle 50s. So some pretty mild days. And you can see when you have several days of rain, it really doesn't fluctuate at all. So that morning temperature, not that far off from the afternoon temperature. So going into the rest of the week, the temperatures, I think they're going to warm up pretty significantly. We have high pressure filter in behind a low. I'm going to pull those up. Give me just a second. Stand by. Cool. All right. Here's a look at the temperatures throughout the week. So we're going to be kind of on the chillier side compared to normal, but then we ramp back up into the 80s on Monday. So that's going to be really nice. Unseasonably warm. Let me look at the climatological normal temperatures right now for the highs. So 68 for the high in northwest Arkansas, and for Fort Smith, it is 73. So we're going to be well above that come this weekend because we're going to see abundant sunshine as well. Here's a look at the River Valley expected high temperatures compared to normal, well above normal temperatures. So it's going to be nice. Pretty nice night. Kinsey, there's going to be rain tonight. New to the live. Yeah, we are expecting rain. We do this to give people a heads up what to expect. Sometimes for a warning and also sometimes to kind of ease people's minds. But welcome to the lives. Meteorologist Payne Lakeford here, taking you through what you could be seeing tonight. So go to Mega Doppler. And we got some strong storms just to our south. Those will start to work their way north. Definitely some pretty strong gusty winds. But there is a little bit of a capping inversion, which is that lid on the boiling pot, so to speak. So over us. Now, that won't really erode, but we could tap into some of that elevated fuel for thunderstorms, and that could give us, a couple rumbles of thunder. Maybe if there's a strong enough updraft, maybe some pea-sized hail in spots, but I don't think it's going to be anything to worry about. The hail threat mainly contained to the River Valley. So northwest Arkansas, not going to be seeing hail if at all possible. But the River Valley might see some pea-sized hail. I don't know. Let me look at something called the significant hail size parameter, or just hail size. This is on a website called the Mesoanalysis. Let me throw it in my show here. Okay. Might have to zoom in a little bit more. That's also the wrong thing. All right. Let's look at all our cameras. Cool. This is it kind of is hard to see. I'll zoom in. So this is what's called the SPC mesoanalysis. This is basically taking what's actually going on right now and only going out about 6 hours. So that's one thing with computer models is you sacrifice time for resolution. So those long-range models, they can go out 2 weeks. They're not really right beyond ever, honestly. But they're not as high resolution. So you don't get as much detail. But this takes what's going on right now and it's plugging in the dynamics and the dynamic equations and kind of outputting what you can expect probably the hail size to be. So I'll take it this full, and you can see, I don't know if you can see my cursor or not, maybe a little bit. They're just updated. Updates like every 15 minutes. But this is expected hail size throughout the night. You kind of can't see the key because you have to zoom in. So I will zoom out a little bit. All right. So this one doesn't go into the future. Some of them do a little bit, just kind of predicting what will happen. But 1-inch hail, possible. That's approaching Scott County. Not to be confused with Scott, Arkansas. There's a lot of places that are like that. But this will be on a weakening trend. Of course, the more favorable ingredients are down in the southwest in the DFW area. But this hail trend will be weakening. Definitely still possible 1-inch hail. That's why they have that hail risk. But I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy. These storms are very elevated. They don't have a lot of fuel for thunderstorms. But yeah, it could be something to watch. So if you hear hail, don't be alarmed. Letting you know. Is it just me, or is that the path of totality from the eclipse? It is very similar. There have been a lot of things that were very similar to the eclipse. A lot of paths. And the one thing being the clearing. So it's actually really weird. You can see the moon racing across really fast. Granted, it is a 8-hour loop in the span of 4 seconds. So it's pretty fast, but you can slow it down. You can really see it. 4 hours in the span of 4 seconds. So it's really fast. We'll slow it down. So we'll go still to 4 o'clock, but I can make it where it's very slow. But yeah, look at the clearing. Before it even starts, look at where the clouds are. It is carved out a nice path for the eclipse. Although just off the path, near Austin, Fredericksburg area, kind of the wine country in the Texas Hill Country, does see a little bit of clouds, but pretty much most of the path pretty cloud-free, thankfully, so that's pretty nice. A lot of people get to experience it in a full totality with no clouds, nothing blocking it. Then you can see the shadow starting to get darker. It's a pretty big shadow, but right under the path is just complete darkness. It's pretty nice. Moving out. And it goes out to the northeast just as quickly as it came. It's gone. 1,600 miles an hour. Pretty darn fast. So it's pretty fast. So hope you enjoyed it while it was here. I can also show you a time lapse from Mount Magazine. Now, was Mount Magazine maybe split the path or kind of in the path? Oops. I have to look. I want to be sure. I know it's close. Stand by. Take a look again. Just got to make sure on these things. Mount Magazine. Okay. Mount Magazine was in the path. I don't know what I was thinking. Almost 4 minutes of totality. I don't know what I was thinking. So we'll show you a time lapse. It's pretty cool. Take this full. So this is 1:40. You see the time over the top. And it's going to get dark for totality. You can really see it. Just like that. It's like nighttime. And then again, gone. Back into daytime. Like nothing ever happened. But I'll drag it backwards in time. it got pretty dark, and it's weird. It's a 360-degree sunset, so it's light at the horizon all around you, east, west, north, south, but it's like getting dark overhead. It's really weird feeling. You see the clouds, they don't really dissipate because they don't really have uh, a long time to try to dissipate. Yeah, it got semi-dark in Prairie Grove. You can see Venus. Yeah, especially with that's where the moon was coming from that the bottom right. You can definitely block out enough to probably see Venus. Venus was very bright. I try to look for a lot of other planets that you can see and a comet, which would have been cool. But uh, yeah, Venus was very bright. You can definitely see it. You can also see in totality the little solar prominences with like kind of like a little flare. Yeah, it was stormy feeling and look. It was weird. It's kind of eerie. It's a weird feeling, like as if you expect something to happen afterwards, but you just stare and it's amazing. It's just, well, words can't describe it. It's pretty nice. Yeah. So again, storms possible tonight. I'll stay on for quite a while because something might try to sneak in here. They see some thunder starting to pop up in Waldron. Well, actually, I can switch to the Fort Smith radar now. See what that looks like. Give that just a second to load. But yeah, Cliffs was very cool. I know some people had the chance to get to see the one in 2045, but very cool. And the one in 2045 comes right through Northwest Arkansas in the River Valley. Slices right through 49 on the path. Really cool. But yeah, here's Mega Doppler. You can see now we're on the Fort Smith radar. You can see these storms a little bit more detailed. It's not super far out away from the radar because the further out you go from the radar, the higher the beam is, the radar beam, because the Earth curves. Newsflash: the Earth is not flat. So you can see more detail when you're closer to the radar because the beam is a lot lower. You see some lightning here in Waldron, between Waldron and Y-City. Only one lightning bolt in the last 5 minutes. So not as convective lightning. There's a whole lot of lightning down towards the DFW area. Some of this might linger in here, but again, it's on a weakening trend. So it's something to watch. I'll put it in motion so you can download more recent data. So you can watch it kind of be in this weakening trend as it moves. Doesn't really show it. We'll have to wait for more data. Every time you load up a new radar, it gets rid of the old data, but now you're fresh with this data here. TikTok from Dallas, it was so cloudy. Yeah, a lot of places it was pretty cloudy. There were some high clouds. I was in Hot Springs Village, and there were some high clouds during the partial part, but in totality, it just completely cleared out. Thankfully, couldn't ask for better conditions. And leading up to it, we were thinking it was gonna be cloudy. We didn't have high res model data. A lot of people had to make or break their plans that far out if they were traveling from a far distance. What was I saying? Yeah, but it was nice for the total eclipse part, which is I'm really thankful for it. Yeah. Your uncle in New York were talking photography plans leading up to the eclipse and comparing gear. Rented a few incredible telephoto lenses for his cameras in New York. Send him your photos to compare and send me a thick cloud cover. Oof, yeah. Felt so bad he couldn't see it. I know. I hate it. I hope those that couldn't see the one today are able to maybe travel to see one down the road. If not, then in 2045. I was looking up about the eclipse path and then the shape it goes across the Earth. That shape occurs only every so often, like that kind of S shape across the Earth. It's part of what's called a SARS cycle, which a SARS cycle is like over 1,000 years. But that shape will occur 164 times, I believe, in that SARS cycle. So about 1 in every 10 are going to be like that, 10 to 20, which is why the one in 2042 will be that same shape across the Earth, but the rotation won't line up for us, but it will line up for Africa and Europe and Asia. That's going to be the same shape, but just won't be the same. Then the one that's in 2045, that'll be part of that kind of SARS cycle, and that'll be kind of coming across from the top left to the bottom right. So I can show you that. For anyone curious about what happened or what's going to happen for the next one. So let's let that play while I pull this up. Look at more eclipses. So the next total solar, you got a lot of partials. Okay. So, oops. Here's the next total solar. So, not a lot of people are going to be getting it. Zoom in a little bit here. But mainly going to be around Northern Africa and the Horn and kind of the Middle East area. I'm not sharing it. Well, let's do that. No, I'm zooming in a lot more. You can see that path. We'll zoom out a little bit. Let's see. We're probably some 6 minutes. Whoa. 6 minutes of totality? That's crazy. That was like Dan's first one he saw off the Baja Peninsula in 1991. 6 minutes of totality? That was crazy. That 3 minutes went by so fast. I don't know why I keep doing that. Yeah, 3 minutes and some change went by really fast. 6 minutes? Whoa. You had time to do everything during that. That's crazy. We'll look at the 2045 one too. Josh, there's a guy next to where you were at in Clarksville with his telescope solar camera set up and a star tracker tracking the moon's movement. That's the one that Dan used. It's crazy. They can track the moon. It can track a lot of other stuff too. Dan was telling me all about it. It's crazy some of the stuff it can do. So we'll pull up the 2045 one as well. I'll show you what I was talking about in 2042. While I pull that up, we'll just look at Mega Doppler in the background because there's some hoops to jump through with this. So August 2nd, 2027 is the next, or August 12th, 2026 is the next total solar. And that's pretty weak sauce on the path. Didn't even really show it because it really ain't worth showing. It's pretty trash. Let me do that. Yeah, trash. Terrible. So that's 2026. Only Spain gets totality, or if you're on the ocean, that'd be cool. See you now in the ocean. Camera. Hello. Nope. Don't want to follow me? That's cool. All right. There's a while to go to these. So, 2026, then 2027, then 2028. They occur every 177 days because you have a lot of stuff that has to line up. If you haven't seen our website, Dan's video explain all the stuff that has to line up to see it. So they only occur every 177 days. That specific path only occurs every. Yeah, here I can show you. Actually, that's a great idea. There you see the countdown to the next one. 161 days. So about every 177, just because everything has to line up. So, 2045 is the next one that comes over us. Isn't that going to be awesome? Great path. Pull this up. You see that path there. So Northern California, the Redwoods. Wouldn't that be cool to see it in there? And across Nevada, Utah, Colorado Rockies, man, Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plains, then right through Fort Smith. Look at that. Totality, 5 minutes and 46 seconds. That's crazy. 5 minutes, 46 seconds, right in Fort Smith. You don't have to leave your home. You just get outside and go look at it. Oh, that's going to be awesome. But what a nice path for a lot of people. It's going to cover a lot of people, a lot of great areas. Then down through Little Rock again. Little Rock's lucky to get another one in 20 years. And then down through the Dixie Alley, and then through Florida. Tampa, going to be in the path of totality. So a lot of places. Denver going to be just missing out. Well, actually, half of Denver will be in totality. Huh. Yep. But going to be pretty cool. That's the next one that's closest to us. But I'll show you what I'm talking about with that same shape over us. We're just not seeing the spot in the rotation. What did I say that was? 2042. Maybe I was wrong, not Africa, but kind of Asia in the Pacific. Okay. That's what I was talking about. Those SARS cycles. I think that's pretty interesting. So it's the same shape, pretty much exact. Imagine this was Southwest Mexico, and up through the Texas Hill Country, and through Little Rock, and then on to Indianapolis. The same path, but it's just the spot in the rotation on the Earth that is going to be. So it's the same shape as the path, but just not the right spot in the rotation. Got a partial eclipse coming up January 14th, 2029. 54% eclipse view. Ooh. I'm going to say what Dan would say. You already know. Trash. But yeah. So 2045 is the next eclipse, unfortunately. Go back to Mega Doppler. See what's going on. Yeah, I know, Patrick. I get what you're saying. More interested in what's happening here. Yeah. Man, just kind of jealous of the people. They're going to be seeing it. But, it was nice, though. It was really nice. So we'll take a look at the rain timing again for anyone just hopping on here as we go throughout the night. There it is. It's pretty much the same for Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. River Valley going to be seeing a little bit earlier, so kind of a little bit of a difference between the two. But it's not going to rain all day, every day. There's probably going to be breaks. Kind of only have these 20% just in case there is a shower that is hanging on. But overnight, going to be winding down just as the sun comes up. And then another little wave expected to sneak through tomorrow around dinner time. And then Wednesday, yeah, pretty much a guarantee. Going to be raining around dinner time on Wednesday. So good amount of rain. You can see what that looks like on this model. I'll show you again. So Tuesday, in the Tuesday night, maybe a little bit, mainly going to be in the River Valley, probably. And then coming into Wednesday, a little bit of shower activity kind of all around. Some of it might clip our coverage area. Then heading into Wednesday around lunchtime and in the evening, that's where we're going to see a lot more rain. And you can see basically the center of the low is not far from us. You can see that kind of rotation going back and forth here. We kind of see we're not far from the center of that low. So we're going to get a lot of that wraparound precip. And that's why there's going to be a lot more rain with Wednesday especially. It's fine. Don't follow me. So that's where we're going to be seeing a good amount of rain on those days. I'll show you the rain totals here. So 4 different models again, showing you for anyone who just hopped on. This model's showing over 1.5 inches across most of Northwest Arkansas. River Valley going to be over 2 in most places. And this long range European model showing over 1.5 in the River Valley and over 2 inches in northwest Arkansas. So the European, the ECMWF, in this model, the GFS, are both long range models, not very good resolution. So they're probably overestimating the amount of precipitation. That's what happens with a lot of these long range models in QPF, which is precipitation forecasting. Quantitative precipitation forecasting. NAM model also showing, this is a medium range model, it's showing almost 2.5 inches in Fayetteville. Northwest Arkansas seeing over 1.5 inches. Most spots seeing, I would say, over 2 inches, showing the River Valley, well over 3 in a lot of spots. So with this, you could see some localized flooding areas. Definitely possible. This is over the next 3 days as well. So it's going to be, a little bit spread out. But Wednesday is going to be probably seeing some heavy rain at times. I'm not sure enough to prompt flash flooding concern, but definitely something to watch as we get closer to that. Because if we start getting better high resolution data, could be seeing a lot more energy coming in. Look at the 7-day, but I pretty much ran through everything. I'll show you. Take this full here. Look at the 7-day forecast, or 5-day first, so we can show the winds. But Tuesday, some storms. Wednesday, some storms possible as well, just because you're going to have a lot more fuel with all that daytime heating, if you can get any. A lot of this will be elevated. Then Thursday, mainly showers in the morning. It's just going to be any lingering showers from Thursday's system. Look at the winds, though. Not Winslow. Look at the winds on Thursday. Going to be pretty stout out of the northwest, 20 to 30. I imagine it's going to be a pretty nice wind chill with that as well. Heading into the weekend, though, going to be another nice weekend. Temperature is going to be way above normal, climatological normal, where we should be for this time of year. Pretty quiet weekend, which is nice. And then Monday, our next system comes back. Might need to tweak those. We will, especially here in the coming days, but definitely worth keeping an eye on. Always try to be ahead of the rain and storms. But till then, we got a good amount of rain coming our way, which we need, because Fayetteville, I believe, is in like 1.5 inch deficit. Pull it up real quick. 2.24 inch deficit on the year in Fayetteville. River Valley, not that much. They saw a good amount of rain when Northwest Arkansas and Drake Field didn't see a lot of rain. Yeah. River Valley at the Fort Smith Regional Airport, 3/4 of an inch surplus, so 0.7 inches above where they need to be for the year. So a lot of rain expected. Hopefully we can get rid of that drought. I know a lot of people want to get outside, especially Northwest Arkansas, and start planting as we're warming up, getting some rain. But we need those April showers, as everyone knows, to bring May flowers. So we're going to be seeing a good amount of rain here in just a little bit. Any questions? Think I'm about ready to wrap things up. Went through everything a couple times. Anyone that just hopped on missed anything? Or you got any specific questions next week? I know it's going to be a great weekend for sporting events. We got NASCAR at Texas Motor Speedway, I believe. Maybe that's next weekend. No, it's Virginia this weekend, I believe. And we got the Masters. Probably going to see a lot of rain. Maybe some storms. So that would be interesting to see how that plays out. What else is going on? A lot of college baseball for sure. Some UFL going on too. So it'll be a lot of good things this weekend. A great time for any outdoor activities. But if you have any questions, hang on here for about a minute more. Let me know anything at all. Anything you want to know. We can go over anything you guys want to. See if there's anything I missed out on that I wanted to cover. No, not really. All right. Well, I think that about does it. So Yeah, we'll keep you updated. Josh Rugger will be in the morning. Now, hang on maybe a little bit longer just to see some of these storms might blossom a little bit. Take a look at Mega Doppler. There might be seeing a little bit of lightning starting to creep into the area. I'll have to watch it as we go on into the night. Could see some more rumbles of thunder. Ooh, maybe a little bit of hail associated with this. You see the little triangle indicating hail size in Worcester, just southwest of Poto. Little dot. This is maximum estimated hail size. So they're getting a little bit stronger. As they move into our area, but definitely gonna watch it close just in case. A couple comments. WrestleMania this weekend in Philly was awesome. Yeah. Yeah, Lane Johnson and Kelsey out there. Really, really cool. UFL starting strong. Yeah, go Renegades. I have to disagree. Roughnecks fan. Each town until I drown. So, speaking of Houston sports teams, took 2 away from the Rangers. The Astros did. Pretty exciting. Maybe you're right, Josh. They start off bad, then they come back after the All-Star break like a brand new team. Start kicking butt. But I don't know. Doesn't seem like a very put-together team. See the let's look at the drought monitor. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll show you this surplus or this drought going on in Northwest Arkansas. It's abnormally dry. I showed you that with the deficit. I could pull up the almanac if you'd like, but I just abnormally dry. This is released every Thursday. The latest one. River Valley not seeing that. Definitely seeing a surplus there. So now I'll pull up the almanac. You can see what I was talking about. There it is for Fayetteville. You see almost 2.5 inches, and a deficit. And Fort Smith surplus. But we'll be getting a lot more. Hopefully, it'll get rid of that deficit in Northwest Arkansas. Awesome eclipse in Clinton. Why did it look like a sunset in the west when the eclipse was overhead? So if you look all around you, it's pretty much a 360-degree sunset. So it's setting pretty much everywhere. Might be a little bit more in the west just based on the angle it's coming from and the sun angle. Might be a little bit more pronounced in the west because as you're getting closer, it's getting darker first because it is coming from the southwest. So it's probably where it is going to be the darkest, especially with the shape of the moon. But that's probably why it looked like more of a sunset in the west. But it was like a 360-degree sunset. It was a little off kilter, so it wasn't like directly overhead, full 360, but it was pretty close the way it kind of came down. Yeah, it was a weird sunset. And it was a weird feeling. Everything started having like different shadows than normal. Yeah, Astros could pull a Phillies move, start horrible, and then be surprising later on. Yeah, I thought Bryce Harper's start was a bust. Like 0 for 11 or something, 0 for 7, then hit a grand slam. Just tearing it up for a couple nights. Definitely pretty cool. Definitely exciting baseball season ahead as well. It's pretty exciting men's Final Four, or I guess championship game. I knew UConn was gonna win. Kling Kong. Yeah, look at Mega Doppler again. So some severe weather, not far off out of our coverage area, over near McAllister. On 75, 69, forgot where it changes, or near the turnpike. 69, I guess, is what it is at that point. Seen some rumbles of thunder. A little bit of hail starting to move into Poto. Line starts to kind of blossom. Yeah, if you're just joining us, looking at some storms possibly making their way into the river valley. Kind of weakening though. You can see in walls, they kind of blow up and then they kind of fall apart. That's what they're going to do. They're going to pop up and then quickly dissipate. But before they dissipate, they might drop a little bit of hail. Possible. I don't think it could be widespread damaging hail. Definitely something to watch. A lot of severe in the DFW area and out towards Graham and on towards Abilene. Wow. Again, mainly hail-driven threat there. Getting a lot of a lot of heavy rain. Coach Cal bringing in the eclipse. Yeah. I don't know what's a bigger national story, the eclipse or Coach Cal coming to Arkansas. That's pretty big. Marcus, one of our audio guys, put this in a great perspective for Coach Cal coming. Said it's like a Ferrari with 100,000 miles. Still a Ferrari, but it's got 100,000 miles on it. Now, Coach Cal's on his way out, but maybe he's got a little gas left in the tank. A couple more laps around. Hopefully, he can take the Hogs beyond an Elite Eight. We'll see what happens, though. It's interesting. I wonder how many players are going to follow him, how many Arkansas players that are in the transfer portal are going to be like, nah, JK, actually come back to play for Coach Cal. It's going to be a little interesting because as of right now, the locker room looking pretty empty. With all the people that are in the transfer portal, we got 2 people and the freshman. And I think maybe one of them, the freshman, might have decommitted today or something. Ugh. Arkansas season, the postseason, or I guess postseason not looking so hot right now. Or the offseason, not postseason. If anyone's wondering how our moon and its size can cover the moon's light, it's a distance thing. Yeah, Josh, the moon is 400 times smaller and the sun is 400 times further away. Put your arm out, use your thumb to cover someone's face sitting a few feet away from you. It's kind of what it's like. Yeah. Hopefully it works great. Yeah, 1 scholarship athlete on our roster this week. Oh, man. I think people are going to come with all that NIL money that Calipari's going to have to throw at their disposal. Going to be showing a lot of that on the NIL money getting thrown around. Ooh. Huh. We may have to join the team. Yeah. Hey, if you ever dreamed of being a walk-on, you have a pretty good shot right now. I think you can do that. Yeah, we need a whole roster, and who's better to steal players? Yeah. Good. Maybe you can steal some old Kentucky players for sure. Getting back from 40 years ago when Kentucky took, what was his name? Sutton? Was it Don Sutton? What was his name? Back in the 80s? Eddie Sutton? In Arkansas? Of course, this is a long time ago, so I don't really remember a whole lot. Yeah, Eddie Sutton was the coach, and then Kentucky stole him. Yeah. How about the weather? Yeah, let's look at Mega Doppler. Mega Doppler showing a little bit of storm activity off to the south and the west. Storms kind of popping up, and then they're kind of falling apart just because they're elevated. There's not a whole lot of room for them to grow. They're reaching the top of that fuel, the top last little bit. So they're not really going to grow a whole lot. They're just going to kind of go up and go down. The storm is kind of still picking up a little bit of speed. Let's look at the mean estimated hail size. Still, zoom in there. What is that? 1/2 inch. It's a great time to pull up the hail graphic. So sizes of hail, so what you can compare them to. So these are all the different hail sizes. Let's go to the interior. Severe levels is when it gets a quarter and bigger. And it also shows you how rare each one is as well. Oh, let me throw this in my show. Now I can take out the pointer. There. So 1/2 inch, about marble sized. This is why they have the severe weather risk, because it could get up to the size of a quarter. So that's what we're watching for on the Howell Heating and Cooling Mega Doppler. But the weather this week gonna be pretty rainy. A lot of rain expected coming the next couple of days. So here's the HRRR model showing the rain and some possible thunderstorms overnight tonight, lingering into the morning as we head on into Tuesday. Tuesday, late afternoon, early evening. Mainly going to be the River Valley that gets a good amount of rain, but everyone will probably see a little bit. And then Wednesday is going to be a good amount of rain expected in the morning, in the afternoon, and then more in the evening time as well. So it's kind of a 1-2 punch. You got this coming out of the southwest, and then a front coming in. That's that cold front. That's going to be bringing a good amount of rain. So in case you missed it, this is probably what we're going to see over the next 3 days. It's not going to be super bad in terms of storminess, but it is going to be a lot of rain. Some areas might see some localized flooding. Maybe some creeks might start to get a little too high and start flooding. But again, not going to be bad in terms of the tornado threat. The hail threat tonight is mainly the hail concern, but the other days just heavy rain is what we could be seeing, and going to be seeing a lot of rain, especially in the River Valley. Things might change though a little bit. Some of it might shift to the north, but definitely expecting a good amount. We'll go back to Howell Heating and Cooling Mega Doppler. Check on that little cell or two near Poto. Look around. Nothing else really going on. Stuff kind of firing up and then fizzling off to the south and east. This is really surviving, making it in. But the hail's not all that crazy. And there's something called linear hail differential reflectivity. So I know that is very confusing probably, but what it does is it's basically say, okay, we have the mean estimated hail size, which is the maximum estimated hail size, which is based on radar. What is the maximum hail that we could be getting? Linear hail differential reflectivity shows what size is actually falling and hitting the ground based on measuring stuff as it's falling. So I'll actually take weather 1 here. So there's the kind of the key. So you see the values on the left, those go from about 10 to 45 dB, but the actual size that's falling, probably not really any is making it to the ground. Now, sometimes there are conditions where this doesn't really work as well. That's why we don't show it all that often. But there are cases where it works really well. I've done some cases over the Austin area and the Big Country area in Abilene, Texas. And it works pretty well, but it just kind of depends. I think you need drier conditions surrounding it for it to work better. But look on actual Mega Doppler. We'll switch back to base reflectivity. There might be some pea-sized hail, but probably nothing bigger than a marble just yet. Go back to the Mega Doppler there. Bring on the rain. Blessed with clear skies today. Yes, so thankful for that. Now, the rain's okay. I didn't want it, of course, to eclipse the eclipse, so to speak. But yeah, bring on the rain. Definitely need it in northwest Arkansas. It's really dry. Before you know it, you're gonna see a lot of rain come next several days. That's something I want to look at. How is the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook looking? Oh, yep, knew that was gonna happen. So there's a severe weather risk for tonight. Again, the 1 out of 5, mainly hail driven. You can see that's why it is the 1 out of 5. What's going on next week? 6 to 10 days. Looking to be a little bit more rainy for the middle of April. And what about the temperatures? Whoa. Now, these different color rings is probability of warmer than normal. So, got some key phrases that help with that. So, obviously, if it was dark brown, it would be, this isn't going to be the right place, but it would be definitely warmer than normal if you were seeing that kind of dark brown color. So that means probably going to be pretty hot too. This is likely warmer than normal for that orange and well into the reds. So this is probably because it's going to be in the 80s. That's almost 15 degrees above climatological normal. So it is very likely going to be warmer than normal. But the same thing also goes for possibly warmer than normal. So again, these are just percent chances of it being above or below climatological normal, which right now about 68 and 73, northwest Arkansas in the River Valley. Same thing for the rain as well. Oops. I don't have it in my show. But again, you'll be seeing a good amount of rain next week. Now, sometimes these are good. Sometimes these are pretty trash. But we'll see. It's just kind of just a first glance kind of thing. Jimmy, hate the heat. Yeah, man. Summer was pretty hot. Well, a couple of record-breaking days. Man, it was hot. Summer, though, was not too bad. I mean, not summer. Winter. Winter was not too bad. It's fairly mild. One moderate snow, a couple light snows. Nothing to complain about. Can't complain about spring either. Spring hasn't been too crazy so far. It's only been several weeks. Go back to Mega Doppler. But yeah, it is it's probably gonna be pretty mild winter. I mean spring. The end of summer probably gonna get a little bit warmer. Take a look at that cell again. Rough night for the Rangers, Dwayne. Yep. It's a good win by the Astros. Props to the kid they put out on the mound. Called him up, gave up a bunch of runs, but the bats were alive for the Astros. That's what we like to see. Let's see, is there anything blossoming around on radar? See, stuff just kind of goes up and down real fast. Yeah, didn't really make it. This is making it. Might be a little bit of hail with this. Maybe some gusty winds. Let's take a look at the base velocity here. Keep in mind, there's also almost 1,400 feet above the radar beam, but we're getting readouts 20 miles an hour, so gusts probably a little bit higher than that. Storm relative velocity, so just relative to the storm's motion, probably going to show about the same thing. Yeah, 20.1. So some fairly gusty winds, maybe some hail near Poto and Kavanaugh Hill. We'll watch it a little bit longer, just in case. Some starts rapidly developing and growing on that. Well, a lot of that looks like it's headed our way. Take a look at the high resolution water vapor. Can do that. Still on Mega Doppler. While I load this up. A lot of energy. Look at that. There's a high resolution water vapor. Oh, that is some bad data. You need to mark that bad data. What in the world? Sometimes you'll get bad satellite scans. So you can just come in here and kind of remove them. So I'm doing real quick. So it's not an eyesore. Ugh. That is terrible. There we go. There we go. All right. So there's a satellite radar loop over the last 6 hours. The bluer it is, sometimes it'll even get up to like green. Those are colder cloud tops. So that just shows you how tall some of these storms are. You see there's a lot around the DFW area now. And that's what's kind of headed our way-ish. They will be on a weakening trend. You can see a lot of the storms in the Texas Piney Woods heading through Texarkana, the Arklatex region. It's what's bringing a lot of those storms and apparently a tornado. And Scott. Yeah. These might make it here. They'll be on a weakening trend. They won't be as strong. They won't be the big hailers that are going on in Dallas. Bringing the gorilla hail, which is 4-inch hail, which isn't a, I guess, exact term. What is wrong with the data from the satellite? It's the eclipse. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, oops. Enter. But yeah, so that was a satellite radar loop. Back to Mega Doppler. It's pretty interesting. I don't know if those storms will make it. They look like they're really trying to. Fairly close. I say that, but they're just crossing the border. Paris, Texas. Paris, Arkansas saw a lot of people today. The eclipse. There's a guy from Paris in Paris, Arkansas. Took a picture there with the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, it's pretty quiet around here now. Of course, Waldron and Poto not super quiet. If you're right next to those storms, good amount of lightning starting to pick up actually. Yeah, this might be developing a little bit of hail. Can't see that readout. 0.67 inches, and the one over Poto 0.73 inches. So starting to get a little bit bigger. 1-inch hail is the severe weather criteria, and if it can keep growing a little bit, it might reach that stage. It's possible. It's just if you go north of 40, definitely going to be seeing a lot less energy. Pull up a meso analysis. Ooh, actually, I'll show you this. This would be kind of cool. So the reason these are getting a little bit of lift is because there's a little bit of lift there. Now you don't want to follow me? Okay. This is what's called the composite map. So this is a map of all the spins in the atmosphere. And I had to zoom in a lot. But you can see right just south of Fort Smith is that lift, that little 8. It's a measure of spin in the atmosphere, vertical spin. And so there's definitely some lift there. That's why those are hanging on a little bit, but there's none north of that. So a lot of those will weaken as soon as they get north of I-40. Seems like based on that map. So storms we're talking about, those right there. Go ahead and put this back into motion here. So they're growing just a little bit, though. Just a little bit. They might grow enough into that 1-inch hail size become severe, but I don't think so. Maybe for a brief minute. But other than that, I don't really think so. Yeah, pull up the mesoanalysis again. Showed that a lot earlier. Let's see. What could we show? Oh, yeah. Here's what I was talking about with the amount of precipitable water. Take this full. Okay. So this is precipitable water. This is the amount of moisture in your ShamWow that you can wring out of there. Basically, how much rain can fall out of a cloud. And it's the unit measure is in inches, and this is in the lowest 400 millibars, which is the lowest 400. I guess it would be pretty high up. It's the lowest about 20,000 feet. So there's a lot of moisture. That's where you're going to see a lot of heavier rain south of our coverage area and into the southeastern part of the state. But there's another parameter. There's plenty of stuff to look at. Just gewgaws of stuff. SARS hail size. This is what I showed earlier. About 1 inch to 1.75 inch max as of right now. And I can kind of go back in time. There's 4 hours ago, 2 hours ago. That's right now. So for the most part, it's on a weakening trend, but not entirely. But again, once it crosses I-40, definitely expecting a weakening trend there. Again, if you're wondering how big all these different hail sizes are, got just the graphic for that. So right now we're seeing near a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch. That's penny-sized hail. Definitely expected probably some pea-sized hail. So I was saying in the 10 o'clock in 9 and 10 o'clock newscast. Right now we're about 3/4 of an inch. So some penny-sized hail. Won't do any major damage. Might take off a couple leaves and stuff, that nature. Yeah. A lot stronger out here. That's where you have a lot more ingredients for lift. I can show you the amount of lift. Our area. Stand by 1 second. So now this is back on that mesoanalysis. It's just showing the amount of instability. You pointed out here. See, there's a lot of uncapped. This blue is bad for storm growth, so to speak. Bad for these storms if they would want to grow. So they're going to be on a weakening trend. They're going to be moving into a capped environment. So they're not going to have a lot of deep convection. See down here, There's not really a cap, so you can have some of that deeper convection, some taller storms. As you move a little bit further north, you're not really going to see a whole lot of that. It's going to be elevated storms that aren't going to have a lot of room to grow. So they could stay the same, but they're not going to grow a whole lot more, if any. And then they eventually will move on to a weakening trend. As you go into nighttime, you'll get a lot more of a cap. You'll get what's called a nocturnal inversion. Now I'll go back to Mega Doppler here. You see, they're slowly growing, barely staying afloat. Maybe a little bit of hail possible. This kind of seems to be on a weakening trend. Look at the velocity. Maybe a little bit of some broad rotation. So that means probably going to see a little bit of the hail. It means it has strong enough updraft and downdraft and enough rotation that it is able to keep that hail, those frozen water droplets, suspended to have hail be able to grow. Starting to get a little bit more lightning activity as well. We'll go backwards a little bit. Kind of staying the same. This one just west of Mansfield, starting to grow a little bit. It's kind of a little line that is surging north and building a little bit. No real threat. Again, maybe just some pea-sized hail. I can put that in motion. Maybe just some pea-sized hail. Probably some, as they call it, flashy, flashy boom booms. Thunder and lightning. Yeah, lightning kind of weakening on that. I guess it's now a blob. Not really isolated anymore. Lightning starting to ramp up. I think it's closer to Midland. It's probably over Midland by now. As we'll move into Hackett. Probably near Greenwood. Might see some pea-sized hail as well. That's just what's possible. But yeah. So we're watching that closely, and when we're doing that, look at the next 48 hours. Just to help you plan your next 48 hours. Now the temperature's pretty mild. You're going to see some pretty mild mornings, thankfully. No chilly mornings, below freezing like we saw one day in northwest Arkansas. Maybe 2 days. Yeah. Temperatures are going to warm up into the 70s. Not going to cool down all that much because of all the cloud cover that's going to be hanging on and the rain chances. Not going to have a whole lot of time for radiational cooling. But because you have clouds throughout the night and into the day, not going to get a whole lot of daytime heating. So the temperature change isn't going to really change a whole lot. Tomorrow, we're only going to get up to the lower 60s in most spots across northwest Arkansas as well as the River Valley. Stay pretty mild. So a lot of greens on the forecast timeline and a lot of green on the radar as well. Beyond that, the extended rain chances, we'll be seeing a whole lot more on Wednesday and Thursday. And then next system expected to start coming back Monday into Tuesday. Of course, still a long ways out. Still got a good ways, but a lot of spin in the atmosphere. Here's what's called a vorticity map. So this is a map of all the spins in the atmosphere. Think about it like this. An ice skater with their arms out can't really spin fast. But if I see if I can do this again. But if I spin around and then pull my arms in, I spin a little faster. So that's kind of what this map is representing, how strong the spin is in the atmosphere. So the whites, that's where you see a lot stronger spin. The kind of blues and yellows, not very strong spin. So out ahead of this big, deep trough, we are getting a lot of little spins in the atmosphere, kind of just a little pieces getting flung at us. That's why we're seeing those little showers. Note that time up there, Tuesday. Seeing those kind of bits and pieces, but a whole lot of stronger spin way out here ahead of that negative, positively tilted trough. It's going to take its time getting here, but it'll get here Wednesday. That's why we're going to see a lot more rain on Wednesday because that's where the strongest lift is. That's where we're going to have the tallest storms the next couple of days. We're going to see a lot more moisture, and especially because we're seeing that southwest flow. So that's kind of where, that's the synoptic setup, the big picture setup. I think it's pretty quiet through the weekend. And then Sunday, more little bits and pieces. Again, southwest flow. Yeah, all that southwest flow. Oh no, southwest flow. We say that because models don't handle southwest flow very well. They don't handle a lot of stuff well. But heading into next Sunday, still a good ways out. You see another pretty stout trough in the atmosphere expected to make its way into our area and negatively tilt on Monday. Well, for anyone who knows a little bit about severe weather, a negatively tilted trough, no bueno, but still pretty far ways out. We'll have to wait and see what that does for us. Back to Halloween and cooling mega Doppler. Yep, there goes that little hail signature thing, the little triangle from our radar software, GR2 analyst. The little hail signature gone away. So go back in time. Was there. And back to most recent. Not there anymore. So it's kind of on that weakening trend. Which, I mean, is probably dumping maybe a little bit of hail. Maybe some, Sonic Nugget Ice hail? Maybe even that big. But it's probably for a brief second before it's now on a weakening trend. There's still some fairly strong storms just out to the southwest. Look at all that lightning. Man, that is a ton. Where is this going? Kind of headed towards us. It's going to take a long time to get here because this is over the last hour. So it's going to be several hours before it gets here. By that time, Josh Rugger will probably be here. Well, 2, 3, sometimes. But yeah. Very thankful this mess was not around. Yeah, that would not have been good. There's another thing we could look at on the comp map. Just let Mega Doppler loop. On the composition map I showed, show the jet stream. So it's the way the upper level flow is going. And it's going to be important here in a second. It's going to be a pretty busy map, but it's important to show where the energy is going. So we looked at the energy. Now we got to look at the upper level support that kind of steers the direction of the big weather systems. So take a look at that. This, again, is that composition map that's showing the winds about 30,000 feet in the air. So what you can tell from this is stuff out from the south, southwest, the Baja region, going to be going up right near us. So some pretty stout southwest flow. Now we got to throw on the energy. So we showed the energy earlier. We got the winds. Now I got to see what energy is moving where, basically. So we turn on. I know it's pretty messy. Bear with me. Bit of an eyesore. But what can we learn from this? Why is my cursor up there? There we go. What can we learn? So we have all this energy. Here, I'll turn it off, back on, and back off, and back on. So here's the energy again. Now here's the winds. The energy, the winds. 1, 2, 1, 2. It's like the optometrist or ophthalmologist. One of the two. So a lot of the energy down to the southwest going to be flung into our area. A lot of this energy with this trough going to be flung into our area. So that's why I'm saying we're going to get a lot of rain because there's just a ton of energy. And the winds are pointing it right towards us. That's why we're going to be seeing several inches over the next couple of days. So yeah. Pretty neat. Pretty neat stuff. This calm map is great. A lot of southwest flow energy going to be coming up and over, as well as this pretty stout, positively tilted trough. But it starts with this right here. So this is the very beginning of a pretty rainy pattern throughout the week. Still a lot of severe thunderstorms in the DFW Metroplex and west in the Mineral Wells and Graham. Nothing really making it here. Well, it's a little after midnight. Might not stay on here too much longer. Probably gonna dip here in a second. Not too much longer. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. All right. Any last minute questions? I can end with a 7-day. Here, I can pull that up. We'll end with that. Still 515 people on right now. Wow. All right. Here is a 7-day before we end the night. Pretty rainy pattern. Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday especially going to be where most of the rain is. And then Thursday, some lingering showers possible. As we head into the weekend, pretty nice weekend, very warm weekend for Northwest Arkansas. And the River Valley also going to be seeing those lower to possibly middle 80s in some spots. But until then, it's going to be pretty rainy. I know it's going to be a great time to have any weekend plans, that's for sure. But till then, I would say have a great rest of your morning, I guess. If you're about to go to sleep. Might see some rumbles of thunder. Things kind of on a weakening trend, but Josh Berger will be in by the time a lot of those storms get here. Maybe he might be doing a Facebook Live. Yeah. But until then, have a great rest of your morning.